Today we're going to take a look at what I would rate as the top 15 Patriot YouTubers, or can I just say my 15 favorite YouTubers? And some of them aren't YouTubers, some of them are restricted to being viewed only on Rumble. Oh boy, I wish we could make Rumble as successful as YouTube. Anyway, number one, Tucker Carlson. I mean, who would not rate Tucker Carlson number one on this list?
Well, Tucker Carlson is out with episode 4 of his Twitter show, this time offering his thoughts on the Fox News Chiron calling President Biden a, quote, wannabe dictator. Let's watch.
The main reason Joe Biden is not a wannabe dictator is because he just does not fit the profile as a man. Dictators have that look. You know one when you see one. Dictators build cults of personality around themselves, and they use those cults to deny the glaringly obvious. In his later years, to name just one example, North Korean dictator Kim Il-sung developed an enormous baseball-sized tumor on the back of his neck. It was huge. It was grotesque. It was right there. You couldn't ignore it. You couldn't possibly not see it. But in North Korea, state media did ignore it. They pretended it didn't exist. And so, in some important sense, it didn't. If a tumor grows on a neck but no one acknowledges it, is it really there? Thankfully, nothing like that is happening in our country or ever will. If Joe Biden ever developed some profound physical or medical problem that was obvious to everybody, journalists would say something. This is not North Korea. We don't have state media here. If Joe Biden was, say, incapable of completing a full sentence, or mistook his sister for his wife, or suddenly started falling down in public for no reason, the New York Times would report on that and then get to the bottom of what was actually happening. That would be its duty in a free country like ours. It's not like they would cover it up. The very idea of a cover-up sounds like a conspiracy theory, a dangerous one, actually, so stop it.
Tucker Carlson, he's got the best investigative services. He puts things together. He really looks into the details. He has a really great way of putting everything out. Sometimes he uses sarcasm to the letter. He's got the great voice. He's got the great looks. He's got the great expressions on his face. Number two, I'm going to go with Newsmax.
Tonight on The Balance, Fox goes even deeper into woke. If you thought losing some of their most popular conservative voices was telling, wait until you hear what Fox News is subjecting its employees to. Plus, another week, another entry into the 2024 presidential race. In an exclusive Newsmax interview tonight, Miami Mayor Francis Suarez helps to answer the burning question as to why now, and he explains what he stands for. And forcing a satanic agenda despite protests and boycotts. The LA Dodgers Pride Night goes on as planned as millions of shocked Americans watch it happen. Here tonight, Rudy Giuliani, Sarah Palin, Francis Suarez. The Balance starts right now.
Who puts together probably about the best news and videos and everything you could imagine. Basically, they tend to be more or less a news agency. They do interviews, but they interview all the top patriots. Marjorie Taylor Greene, they've got Trump on there, they've got some of his biggest supporters on there. They interview the top patriots in Congress. And if we could get the woke generation to watch Newsmax for, let's say, a half hour, I'd say 50 to 80% of them would stop being woke. Right after that has to be real America's voice.
Well, as we were discussing at the top of the program on Thursday, June 8th, two massive political stories broke. These are massive stories, historical stories, but only one of them got covered by the broadcast networks at all. Former President Donald Trump, of course, was indicted by the special counsel in the classified documents librarian case. And on the very same day, it was reported that President Joe Biden had allegedly received $5 million, his half, of a bribe from an executive of a Ukrainian gas company, Burisma. You know, the same company in which his son Hunter was involved, and which he got involved and had a prosecutor fired in Ukraine by threatening to withhold $1 billion in American aid. You remember all that. Which one do you think was covered exhaustively and which one was ignored? I think you know the answer to that already. Over 4 days, the big three, ABC, CBS, and NBC, jammed their evening, morning, and Sunday roundtable shows with a total of 291 minutes of coverage dedicated to the Trump indictments. How much time did Biden-Burisma get? There it is. Go to the scoreboard. 0. Zilch. Nada mention. Here with more is the story.
They're not as popular as Newsmax, but they do have a good show. They've got some good shows. They've got good interviews. The only thing is that they're really not on YouTube. I think they've been banned. But you can see them on Rumble. And if you got a smart TV, you can link right to Real America's Voice. Number 4, I've got Sky News Australia. I wouldn't really rate it as number 4, but I think it kind of goes along with Newsmax, Real America's Voice.
You believe it will be inevitable that there will be forced conflict?
We've got a significantly increased defence.
A once-in-a-generation look at whether our ADF is fit for purpose.
The United States will go to war if necessary in order to protect Taiwan.
Of course, we have alliance obligations. What we don't have is strike capabilities.
The Chinese PLA has 975,000 troops. How long, realistically, could you hold them off?
We will fight as long as it takes.
Victory is anything but assured.
Are we ready for war?
We are acting as quickly as we can.
I pray that they will get it right.
Sky News Australia has a really great distinctive way of reporting the news in the United States, and it comes from a perspective halfway around the world, and it lets us know we're not alone in what we see. If they can see this stuff happening halfway around the world, we know we're on the right course. Of course, we got to rank Babylon B in the top 5.
He's an existential threat to democracy itself. If we don't destroy him, the unparalleled peace and prosperity Biden brought to America will be over. For good. But there's still time to stop Trump before it's too late. Here's a few ways to destroy Donald Trump. First off, impeach him for the 3rd time. It's bound to work. Number 2, bribe Melania to reveal the source of his strength. It's gotta be his hair. Number 3, put a Big Mac right underneath a dangling piano. You didn't hear it from me, but Hillary Clinton has successfully used this method 3 times before. Effective and hilarious. Number 4, become a porn star. Have an affair with...
Babylon B, the sarcasm, really great shows. They're the best series I've seen is the couple that moves from California to Texas and their adventures. And of course, they always have those little short stories. And talking about short stories, number 6, I'd put in Buddy Brown.
What's going on, y'all? Story time. So it is September of 2024, all right? And Joe Biden is about 32 points behind his opponent. And he's freaking out. He calls everybody into the Oval Office. And he says, we got to figure out what's going on. And you got until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to let me know how we're going to get back in this race. So 8 o'clock comes tomorrow morning. And everybody walks in. His poll folks, his handlers, everybody. Vice President says, what do we got to do? They said, well, sir, we figured out the problem. It's just because no blue-collar folks are going to vote for you, okay? The blue-collar folks don't like you. The country boys really don't like you. And the rednecks just flat out hate you. But we figured out what we can do. Joe, we are going to send you on a duck hunt down in Mississippi. We're going to have it on Fox News, and we're going to have it live. Everybody's going to see you, and they're going to say, he's a good old boy just like us. Joe said, this might be brilliant, y'all. So he gets on a plane. He gets on Air Force One from D.C., and he goes in.
He's got the I don't know, he's got the really cute face, he's got the eyes that just capture you, and he's got a way of putting things out in that really great sarcastic southern attitude. He's kind of like the down-home boy that's going to tell it like it is no matter what, and represents a solid core of our Patriot community. Number 7, I'm going to put in liberal hive mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know what would be insane, just like an insane comment to make or statement to make? This statement right over here. I'm moving to San Francisco. If anybody ever said that near me, and they weren't some mega wealthy multi-billionaire or 100+ millionaire tech mogul or something, I would think you're a crazy person. Now of course it's possible you have family and whatnot, but the idea of moving to San Francisco for the sake of I want to live in San Francisco is completely crazy. I mean, nuts. You're essentially an insane person at that point. And I really don't think that it's hyperbolic to say that. The only statement that makes sense to me in relation to San Francisco, and I'd argue California, or at least California cities in general, is leave San Francisco. Well, that's exactly what's happening. Is it any surprise? You know, it's almost a snowball effect, right? It starts with regular folk just packing their bags and leaving San Francisco for greener pastures. It then creates a snowball, starts to tumble down the hill, gaining momentum, becoming bigger and bigger. Then we see massive companies like Walgreens closing 17 locations. We've seen Whole Foods close down, various small businesses, big businesses. Well, now we're seeing the community entity, I guess we could call it, that houses most of these businesses, defaulting on their mortgage, giving up in San Francisco, and simply giving up their entire mall back to the bank. Let me show you guys what's going on. That's not the only story we got. Let's do a little bit of a deep dive into why San Francisco is dying. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so the headlines continue to stack up. Here's what we got this week. Westfield Center gives up on...
He's got a really great way of putting things. He's got a good format. He's got a voice like no other one that puts together the facts, and he's got his little cliches and sayings that really stand out and make you think. After that, I'm going to go with Anthony Brian Logan.
Fox News, CNN, MS13, DNC. At this point, what's the difference? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about some disturbing findings that Matt Walsh has discovered about Fox News that he put over on Twitter. Now, the thread does get gross, so here's your warning. You know, because if I'm reading it and I say certain things, you'd be like, hey, ABO, I'd appreciate a warning. Well, this right now is your warning. But before we even get into the gross thread that Matt Walsh discovered, the first thing I wanted to do was talk about the lower third of wannabe dictator. Did you guys see that? Let's put it on the screen right quick. And of course, everything that I'm talking about right now will also be in the description. You see the headline right here over on New York Times. Fox News Chiron calls Biden a quote-unquote wannabe dictator. The on-screen text appeared Tuesday beneath split-screen footage of President.
He's got a really good setup to where he converted a house or part of his basement or something with a good background. He's got a really good perspective on things, and he's got his little cliches and sayings that just wants you to come back for more. Along with that is the black conservative perspective. Now, there's a couple of YouTubers that I've seen, and black conservative perspective is one of them, that they really don't do a whole lot of investigation. They just want to get the stuff out. They want to get their numbers out. They want to get their income up. But I'll tell you what, if you look, I get half my news from black perspective, which is really great because black people can say things that other conservatives can't. So the black conservative perspective often hits the nail on the head with a lot of these subjects. really great guy to watch.
Group like this, honored, awarded, celebrated, there is no equality in mocking women religious, no tolerance in hate, no pride in anti-Catholic bigotry. Mocking Christians is not the Dodger way.
Several days later.
Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence for their outstanding service to the LGBTQ+ community. Sister Unity and Sister Lydia. Our next guest is the only openly gay Major League Baseball player, current or former, alive today.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It turns out that Pride Night for the LA Dodgers, featuring the woke anti-Christian nuns, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who were uninvited, then re-invited back to Dodger Stadium so that they could be honored amid backlash. Massive Christian backlash against what, again,
he gets excited sometimes, and it's really good to see someone really enjoying their work. Awaken with JP.
Hasn't Biden done the exact same thing that Trump is being indicted for?
Well, we've heard the rumors that Biden has done the exact same thing of having illegal classified documents. But with Biden, it's completely different because he had more of them in a less secure location, his garage, and therefore it's not a crime. They were by a Corvette, for crying out loud. Corvettes are constitutional.
Did you know that a big part of propaganda is accusing your enemy of what you're doing?
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, that's absurd. If we...
Guy's kind of strange. He's got his own style of putting things together in kind of comical way. As a matter of fact, he did a couple of videos on, if we're not laughing at this stuff, we're kind of missing the point. And laughter kind of eases the stress of what we're going through on a day-to-day routine. At number 11, I've got the Hodge Twins.
Spirit Airlines, the pinnacle of flying in this country.
That flight is equivalent to a Family Dollar. You should call it Family Dollar Airlines. Cheap, crappy products. No, just cheap, crappy customers. I've taken a couple flights on Spirit, Red Eyes. Oh my God, that was an awakening. I thought I was walking amongst the living dead.
I felt we got our tickets, right? We went to go sit down. I was like, man, I'm tired, man, taking this red eye. I started looking around at that clientele.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I wanted to run. I felt unsafe.
But anyway, there was this incident that just happened in Fort Lauderdale Airport, right?
Yeah.
At Spirit Airlines. You got to check out the footage.
Which are okay. Some people think they're gross. Sometimes they get a little bit too gross. Sometimes they get off subject, but they have a great way of showing you. They keep on bringing it back to, you know, they represent how the majority of black people think and how black people view a lot of this stuff, and ask, why does the media cover it this way? And you know, the average person in the street, the average black person in the street, doesn't agree with it. The China Show, it's got it rated at number 12.
Hey guys, welcome to a breaking special report. We do this occasionally when there's something so important that it just can't wait until Friday. So I think we're just going to gallop right into this one.
No sauntering today.
Yeah, we got to get right into it. And today what we're doing is we're talking about these uprisings that are currently happening in Yunnan. And we're going to talk all about it. So let's get right into. We're not going to do a what's new today. Don't worry, we have more.
We kind of will.
We have the usual stuff, but let's get right into Soft Power Hour today, because that's what this is all about, really. Okay, so maybe before we even begin, because I gotta pull this up now, can you tell everybody?
Framing is great. We're all set.
I mean, it usually is. Can you tell everybody about Yunnan? Where is it located in China?
Yunnan is in southern China, southwestern China.
Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to.
I thought I'd throw this one in there because I think the China show, which focuses on what's happening over in China, is an important channel. The host of the show actually lived in China for a number of years. One of the hosts actually married a Chinese doctor. So they've got a perspective on China that I think is important to keep up, and I wish there were more channels like that. Yeonmi Park is number 13. Basically, I think she's important. I think she would be a really great channel to show in schools, to show in other institutions. She's a North Korean defector.
War, invisible war happening inside North Korea. Hello everyone, long time no see. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a very interesting topic. It is about the war, invisible war happening inside North Korea. It seems very peaceful and nothing has been happening inside North Korea. However, that's very not true. The war is been going on between North Korea's women, the ladies that were surrounded by Kim Jong-un. So it became very clear right now that currently the North Korea's kingmaker is not even Kim Jong-un, it's his wife.
Her videos tell her whole story, actual sad story of how she escaped North Korea, went into China, was instantly, as a child, was sold into slavery. It's just a really sad story, but it shows how even this tiny little woman can persevere, and if she can do it, we all can do it, and that's what I think she encapsulates and explains the core of Patriots, that no matter how bad things get, we're going to keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's really great to get a perspective and ideas and the concepts of how someone that actually lived in North Korea views what's going on. I'm going to throw one in here. He's not too political, but it's task and purpose. What does he call himself? The Spare Parts Army?
When Russia's TOS-1 Buratino system was first deployed by Putin's army against Ukraine, the news and human rights organizations sounded the alarms. With recent news that the center part of the city of Bakhmut has been captured by Russia, it's worth taking a look at the brutal weapon system they deployed in order to destroy and control this part of the city. In early April 2023, that's when we first started hearing reports that Russia had deployed the TOS-1A to Bakhmut, and I think this signaled a turning point in the battle, one where we saw Russia pivoting from capturing the city to flat out leveling it. If they can't have it, no one can. The British Defense Ministry cited Russian media reports about the transfer of the TOS-1A to Moscow's airborne forces, the VDV, on April 3rd.
Really great host, really great way of putting things. He does a ton of investigation. Most of it's on the military, the weapon systems, and he's got a really great thing there where he looks into the history of the cartel, and he looks at these different countries and the wars going on. We got no idea how many frickin' wars are going on all over the place, and how many the United States is involved in, and why we're giving arms to Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, and all these other ones. We know that they're just in the money of making business off of these arms deals, and most of the people in Congress are in on the cut. That's the problem we're facing today. But Task and Purpose really goes into detail on these arms that we're seeing in Ukraine and all over the United States, and also explains how Trump built the strongest military in the entire world, and how the Chinese are trying to catch up, and why it's impossible for the Russians to even catch up. And he also explains why the rest of the world is just relying on the United States, and they're not even trying to compete in the arms race. I'm going to throw one in at number 15, who is not political at all, but he's a patriot. He's super religious. He's Weatherman Plus.
Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. Mark again here at Weatherman Plus. Now I'm going to give you updates on what's going on, because this storm keeps getting stronger and stronger. And I'm going to give you the latest updates on what's going on with the new Invest 92L. As of right now, it is at 20 miles per hour. It is 1,012 millibars, and it is moving west at 8 miles per hour. And you can see where a lot of the ensembles is predicting that this path will go. I will update you on that as well. Plus, what's going on in Eastern Pacific still not affecting anyone. Plus, this big group of thunderstorms that is moving through Central America. All this blue is indicative to a lot of lift, a lot of growing thunderstorms going through Central America. This is what's bringing a lot of flooding to the U.S. very soon. And this is what GFS is still seeing could form up something while it moves towards the U.S. Plus, before all this flooding comes towards the U.S., we still have this very strong thunderstorms, a lot of severe weather that has ramped up. We have enhanced for today and tomorrow, and I think it could ramp up even more. I'm still showing hurricane force winds.
I've watched this guy dozens and dozens of times, and you know what? He'll go out to a forecast 7 or 9 days in the future, and he explains all the maps and all that stuff. Sometimes it gets too detailed for me. But you know what? This guy is like at least 90% correct. So if you want to watch his channel and find out what the weather is going to be like 3 to 5 days in advance without getting all the sensationalism of we're going to get an inch of rain, the world's going to end. You know how the regular media channels really exaggerate everything. You know, a 4-inch snowstorm is like the end of the world. Anyway, the Weatherman Plus just puts it out. At the end, he's always got his little prayer, and I think the guy is great. So I hope you enjoyed this one. That's my list on the top 15 YouTubers. You can leave comments on the bottom, what yours might be. If I missed one, sorry about that. I don't have enough time to watch everything on YouTube. Nobody does. Or if you happen to tune in and want to leave a comment about what you thought about one of these, feel free. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And what does Anthony, Brian, Logan always say at the end? Peace. So take it with you, and hope you do a little bit of exploring on your own.